Well, like I said when I was doing the de-germ video with the Dakota, sorry, this guy's still in here. One little issue came up I gotta fix, so that's why this is still here. If it wasn't, I'd probably be working on my new project that I'm trying to get to. What you have in front of you, though, is a 1997 Honda CR125, and a 1984 ATC 200X. Now, a lot of people could probably figure out where I'm going with this. I'm going to combine these two, hopefully, and make a three-wheeler. Now, my plan, and if anyone that's done a lot of fabrication work has any advice, I'm 100% all ears. So I've measured that bar down there and that bar down there. They are pretty much the same width, which is kind of what I was hoping to find. Now, my plan is to chop off those 4 pieces, chop off this piece, hopefully keep the head stay in there as well. And I'm probably going to cut this guy way up here and then down the neck and keep as much meat in here as I can. I can always take more off. It's a hell of a lot easier than putting it back on, in my opinion. And with the 200X, obviously, chop those 2 bars. And here, I'm probably going to be pretty reserved in my cutting. I'm probably going to cut down here and try to keep what I can in here and just kind of see how things line up if I need to. Like I said, I'll take more off of here and make things work. But obviously, I don't want this guy. I don't want in here. I wouldn't mind keeping the tank mount just because I don't know which tank I'm going to use yet. Now, I'm probably going to use this tank, even though I have one of each, actually, now I think about it. But I kind of want to make a modern three-wheeler, basically, if Honda never quit making them, what a 125 three-wheeler would look like. Now, somebody has done this, and they did a very good job of it with a second-gen 200X. Now, that one would be more simple because the bottom of the frame, I believe, is different. I believe it opens up, so you already have a place for the pipe to come out, make yourself some bracketry, and you're steps ahead of me. So, why am I using this at all and not putting a swing arm on here? My main concern is the rake of the front wheel. Now, this guy will sit much further out than if I put on the 200X. It'll sit much more like a three-wheeler. And the 200X frame is very light. A 200X, if you've ridden one, is a fairly nimble, light. You can throw it around three-wheeler. And to me, they're lacking power, and that is it. I would get crucified for saying that in a lot of different places, but people who actually like them and race them would probably agree. But that's just kind of how it is. Now, I believe that if I could get this done, this is going to test a lot of my fabrication abilities. I have never fabricated anything like this. My welder is subpar. It is the cheapest one I could get on Amazon or eBay, one of the two, because I needed a welder once and I didn't have the money to spend on a nice one. Now, like I said, with spare parts, I have built some things myself, but that was pretty much do precise measuring, figure out what parts work where, build a few tiny parts like the spacer between the brakes and the swing arm, but nothing crazy. This is going to be a whole different animal. But there still are things that are taking priority over this. Such as, like I said, we're having health issues in the family. That is number one priority at the moment. I want to get that guy to be a roller so I can work on it this year in my basement. And that's also why I want to get this done before winter so that I can work on it as well in the basement. Which, by work on it, I mean figure out what's happening there. These are the rest of the parts from the bike. I did have a complete bike once. And go through the entire engine because it needs at least top end redone and at least a crank and clutches and clutch baskets. So going through that entire lower end is going to be a learning curve in itself because that's also something I've never done. I have the air cooler lower end over there I'm planning on building for my 300 kit that I have just not gotten to yet. But like I said, that's not a high priority thing because I didn't race this year except for one race with this guy and it broke, so la-di-da. But this is one of my most ambitious projects, and in all reality, failure is not an option through this because I'm not willing to. Like I said, there are some fabrication things that I'd like to be able to talk to more people about, such as my thought is if I were to bring this guy up, that chunk right there, bring it up into here, and let's say I could keep this stuff on here, would it be a good idea to use like that hole that's currently there and like make button weld? I wouldn't probably do more than 2 on each side. But then my other concern is obviously the neck is going to take some abuse. So could that button weld then potentially crack and then work its way down, and then I'm foobarred? You know, and then there's other little things too that I need to test out, such as where the coil's going to go there. Do I need to cut those tabs off, or is the 200X tabs perfectly in the right spot? There's going to be a bunch of little things that I'm probably going to overlook or look too deep into, to where, things happen. So, like I said, this is going to be a long, semi-meticulous project. My main goal is to have this done by this coming summer. It's almost winter. I've still got to get this guy out of here, get my other tractor here so I'm ready for winter, which theoretically I just have to load it on a trailer and bring it here. But it's just kind of one of those things where I need to make sure all the important bases are covered prior to trying to do this. If everything goes well, maybe I'll be cutting this thing by the end of the week. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So you probably won't even see this video for a few weeks because I have a couple others to put up first. But theoretically, this should work. Theoretically. Now, there are still some other things I'm concerned about, such as once the radiators are on there, are the triples for 200X going to hit it? Now, I'd absolutely love to use these front triples, but I think they're too tall. I think I'd need like a 85 or something like that for the inverts. But then that gets into more custom work to where then I'd need a custom set of triples made and everything else. And that's just kind of a down the road thing that I'll figure out when I get there. For now, my main goal for this is to make it to where everything is a off-the-shelf part, such as I blow it up the first day, I can get the cylinder redone, get a new piston, do all that stuff off the shelf. Neck bearings are bad, off-the-shelf part. Swing arm bearings, Lord knows the rear swing arm bearings are going to go out ASAP because it's a 200X and that's just what the first gens do. Then I can get them off the shelf, I don't want anything wild and crazy and custom, such as like the expansion chamber. I want to use not necessarily a factory, but like that one's a Pro Circuit or FMF, I don't remember which. I want to use a part such as that's simple to get. I don't want to have any massive customized part that's a pain to get. Like an LED pipe, I would love to have one for like these guys, and that might be something I do in the future. But for this project, at least starting out, I don't want anything like that. That way, when I have issues, I can refer to someone who knows something about those factory options and be like, hey, have you checked this, that, and the other? So the 200X, I know pretty well. Like I said, I have one. I've rebuilt them. I've gone through them. Mine's needed almost everything replaced on it you can imagine, and it still needs rebuilt. So I know the 200X platform. The cr125 platform, I know nothing about. I had a YZ that ran good once, and if this thing produces power like that YZ did for me, I'll be off to the races with this guy. And I think this could be a very fun flat track racer. Now that comes into the last point that I'm going to have is, what do I race with? Do I make it a flat tracker? Do I make it a motocrosser? What do I do? Now that'll probably not be decided until almost the very end, because like I said, I want to use 200X parts. Now if I get a swing arm and I want to customize it to make it lower or something, I'll do that. No big deal. But that'll be probably the last decision that I actually make with this, is what purpose is it going to suffice? Now, theoretically, what I'd love to do, since all the races we have around here really are flat tracks, is I would like to make this one almost my main TT flat track three-wheeler. This guy would still be my Battle at the Barn one, and the 300 Custom Craft would still be a beautiful backup. If not, take it to the races and have fun with it. Or if I knew someone who wanted to go try it out, here's a 3-wheeler. Go have a ball, you know. But that still might depend what power this thing makes. Now, I recall when I originally was going to put this engine into spare parts, the 81 and 2 were my main choices because now this is all stuff I read on the internet, so don't quote me fully on this. I could be incorrect because it's been years since I read this. The cr125 put out more horsepower, and I'm going to say since it's newer, it should also be usable power than the factory ATC 250R air-cooled engine. And these were actually lighter than the future, I think that the first gens were the lightest of the 250Rs. So with that being said, I think with this combination, I could have a very quick 3-wheeler. So all of this kind of stuff is going to be decided as we go. And like I said, if you want to see more on this, you're probably going to have to subscribe. Because like I said, this is not going to be a start out today, grind for 2 months, and have it done by then kind of a thing. This is going to be when I have free time and time is allotted and priorities are where they need to be, that I will be getting to this 3-wheeler. Like I said, I'm hoping to have it done around next summer. That would be my goal, that if I could ever make one. But like I said, life happens, things happen. We'll see where it goes. Now, obviously, as most people know who have been on my channel for a while, I will keep you updated. I normally have one or two projects I have going on at a time. Like I said, I just had this guy, and I just had the 300 kit, Custom Craft 300 kit 250R I just did. And I've had that guy torn apart, and I need to get other things done that took priority over it before I got back to it. So now we're going to get back to that, as well as these, and see what we can make happen. So, sorry for the rant. Sorry there was a lot of talking, but like I said, this is going to test all my fabrication abilities, and I want people to just kind of be patient with what I'm doing here. This is, I'm not a shop. I'm a kid. I'm somebody who's not even 30 yet in their garage trying to build something that they've thought was a great idea for years now, and finally has a place to try to do this, and doesn't really have a ton of fabrication experience, and has other things that prioritize over this because YouTube sadly does not pay these bills. So we will, hopefully this will help bring in some new viewers and everything, and new ideas and new people to help with this so they know what they're doing better than I do. But that's enough rambling, enough yakking, enough going on and on and on about the same darn thing and not getting anywhere. So, hope everyone has a fantastic day, and we'll definitely hope to see everyone on the next one with this, because this is going to be exciting in my eyes. A lot of little hurdles to hop over and figure out, but like I said, I'm not going to fail at this. This is going to happen. It's going to take time, but it will happen as quickly as I can make it. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you subscribe and see what happens here. It's going to be exciting.